Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Less than 3 weeks away from kicking off year 3 of the Josh Heupel era. Man, I am excited. Listening to Josh Pate this week talking about the ceiling for this football team being 11-1. Says the floor is 7-5. So where does that put you? Probably somewhere around 9-3. What do you say? Jump into the comment section. What is the ceiling for this football team? Can they actually go out and compete for a national championship? What about the floor? 7-5. How would you feel coming off of a 7-win season in year 3 of the Josh Heupel era? What are the expectations? What is realistic for this football team? They were back out on the practice field over the weekend in full pads, getting geared up for the second scrimmage of fall camp coming up on Wednesday. That is a big one. There are some position battles that are still ongoing, but the more I hear about the scrimmage reports, the more I read about practice, the more excited I get, hearing about the quarterbacks being dialed in, hearing about that front seven taking a step. That's probably what excited me the most when Ben McKee was on the show last week talking about the front seven, the guys on the defensive line, those guys at linebacker. That linebacker room is a legit unit. I made a video about Eric Ainge talking particularly about those linebackers, how Arian Carter looks the part as a true freshman, and he called the position group the best on this football team. So that excites me about this defense. But I want to talk a little bit more about Joe Milton. I made a video on him last week with some interesting points from J.D. Piquel over at On3. If you missed that, go back, give it a watch. Very, very interesting way to look at the possibility or some of the reasons that Joe Milton could have success in 2023. But I saw an article over at ESPN.com, anonymous SEC coaches giving their opinions on Joe Milton. We're going to get into that and talk about it. But as always, smash the thumbs up just below the video. That is quick, free, and easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. If you enjoy that, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Got a big live stream coming up later today. Williams Nwaneri, 5-star defensive lineman, is set to make his college decision. Now, he said it's going to be at 3 p.m., but he didn't say Eastern or Central. So I'm going to expect that is Central time because he is in Missouri. But be on the lookout. We're going to be going live for that. I already know, the spoilers are out there. I get it, but we've got a lot to talk about, not just counting down to the decision of Williams Nwaneri, but also talking about recruiting on the defensive line, NIL, Spire Sports Group, also some of the state laws in Missouri. A lot of fun stuff to get into a little bit later, so make sure you tune in for that. Probably go live around 3:15 Eastern time, somewhere around in there. So make sure you tune in. We'll also do the NCAA stream later tonight. Going to be a busy day talking all things Tennessee football. But let's go take a look at this article from ESPN.com. And again, this is anonymous coaches talking about quarterbacks around the country. Joe Milton, you can see the article there on the screen, says no non-returning starter generated a stronger reaction from coaches than Milton, who replaced an injured hooker down the stretch last season and will enter the fall as the Vols QB1. Coaches spoke of Milton's Paul Bunyan-like arm strength and frame, 6'5", 235, and how impressive he looked in warmups. I heard similar things from Big Ten coaches when Milton played at Michigan. So, talking there at the beginning, no non-returning starter generated a stronger reaction from coaches, but I would also say no non-returning starter has generated as much buzz, as much hype, and has so much pressure on their shoulders. It's good to see him out there in fall camp, loose, energetic, having a good time. Milton likes to goof off. Milton likes to dance around. He likes to be who he is. Joe's going to be Joe, and that's what he needs to do. I like hearing about the leadership. That's something I mentioned in the previous video as well. Joe Milton out there. Josh Heupel's about to break down the team, kicks it over to Keenan Peely. Joe says, hold on a second. I got something that I need to say to my football team, and he addresses that football team as a leader. I like that you're hearing about him over there coaching the young wide receivers, coaching the running backs, always being a leader. I like hearing that from Joe Milton. But again, generated the most reaction. That's because he is generating the most buzz right now all across the country. And what do you guys think? Let's go on and take a look at more about the article. Then I'm going to bring up a point about Joe Milton here in just a second. It says he opened seasons as a starter for both Michigan and Tennessee, but couldn't keep the job. The key is whether he can build off of an encouraging finish to last season, as he earned Orange Bowl MVP honors after 251 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Clemson Tigers. Here's the quote from the first anonymous coach. An absolute cannon for an arm. There's no vertical shot he can't hit. He's a little more of a pocket passer and seems to be comfortable standing back there and making throws. Got all the right tools you need. He can reach the far numbers. He can spray it all over the field. So when you read that, obviously we all know, right? We've heard about Joe Milton's arm. We've seen it. We've seen the oranges. We've seen him slinging basketballs across Thompson Bowling Arena. We understand. We know that Joe Milton has a cannon for the arm. There's no vertical shot he can't hit. Now, the question is, where's the accuracy, right? And it goes on to say that here. Says the criticism of Milton is that he doesn't always translate his arm strength to accuracy. Completed only 55.1% of his passes in 2020 and 2021. And I want to bring up a point there. We're getting ready to go into the 2023 football season. Why was 2022 not mentioned in this article? Because people always have a narrative, right? If you're going to talk about the criticism of Milton and his accuracy, you're going to form the narrative where it fits that opinion, right? Why did you not mention 2022 when Joe Milton's numbers went up, right? 56% in 2020, 51% in 2022, jumped all the way up to 64.6% in 2022. But I also want to talk about that 2020 season. Joe Milton, 56.7%. You know, we've all heard the story that he lost his job. That's what the article started at the top, says lost his job while he was at Michigan and then lost his job while he was at Tennessee. The interesting thing, he started off that 2020 season at Michigan, completed first game against Minnesota, 15 of 22, 225 yards and a touchdown. Next game, Michigan State, 32 of 51, 300 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The Indiana game, he comes out on November the 7th in that Indiana game and has some type of wrap on his throwing hand. Now, we would later learn that he had off-season surgery. He was battling a thumb injury. Did that carry over to Tennessee? I don't know, but I think that definitely played a part in him losing the starting job at Michigan. Now, you also got to look at who was sitting behind him on the bench at Tennessee. Josh Heupel had a pretty good backup option in Hendon Hooker. A lot of people thought that Hendo Cinco was going to win the job ahead of time. So I don't know, again, we look at this with battered Vol syndrome when we start talking about his accuracy down the field, you know, and that's something I mentioned in the last video I made talking about Joe. And a lot of people didn't watch it, so I'm going to kind of reiterate some of those things here. Some of the great points that were made in that video that came from J.D. Piquel over at On 3 is Joe just needs to be Joe. And if Tennessee has success in the running game, then I think, you know, you bring that safety in the box and you have some of those guys running free down the field. Now, if you can't establish the run, you're going to have to fit that football in tighter windows, and that could make things a little bit more difficult for Joe. So we read the article here. We read about how Joe likes to stand back in the pocket more. We hear that we need to run the football for Joe to, you know, take a little pressure off of Joe, have more open windows to throw into. So it sounds to me like we have to worry about our offensive line unit. And to kick this thing all the way back to the top of the video, what's the floor? What's the ceiling? A lot of that is going to depend. Can this offensive line keep Joe Milton upright? Can this offensive line run the football? Another quote here from an anonymous coach says he's the most dangerous guy. An SEC defensive coordinator said he's kind of like what Anthony Richardson was in 2022. He's humongous. Watched him in warm-ups and pads, and I'm like, I hope he doesn't get in, but now he is up. That's right, Joe Milton's up. It's Joe Milton's turn. And the comparison to Anthony Richardson there, I've said it multiple times. I think if Tennessee goes out, wins 9, 10, dare I say 11 games, and Joe Milton has a pretty successful season, Joe Milton plays the entire year from start to finish, doesn't find himself injured or on the bench with Nico in there slinging the rock, leading us to 11 wins. I think Joe Milton's going to end up being a first-round draft pick. But what do you guys think about those comments from anonymous SEC coaches about Joe Milton's accuracy, the ability to stretch the field, the arm strength? What do you think? Jump into the comment section. Let me know. Also, let me know, what is the ceiling? What is the floor? What are you looking out of this football team? Don't forget to join us for the Williams-Winery live stream coming up somewhere between 3 and 4. Just be ready to go. I'll try to dial in the exact time. Been some kind of miscommunication. 247 Sports says 8 p.m. Williams-Winery tweets out 3 p.m. But is that Eastern? Is that Central? I don't know, but we'll find out and let you guys know. As always, smash a thumbs up on the way out the door. Don't forget, we're giving away a free t-shirt to anybody that joins the channel between now and Wednesday is going to be entered into a drawing to win a free t-shirt. So hit the join button down below for as little as $1. Just $1 a month. We would greatly appreciate that support. But also, you get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, getting ready to get geared up right before the season starts. All kinds of fun perks and benefits. But also, you can go check out the merch if you want to pick one up. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We got the brand new Fuga shirts. We got the TriStar shirts. We've also got Gator Hater, all that good stuff. Go check it out. If not, that's cool. Smash the thumbs up. It's quick, free, and easy. Jump to the comment section. Let's talk some Tennessee football because this is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.